Welcome everybody, Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, 1980, June 11th, and it's J.R. Richard's last shutout. He passed away today, RIP. J.R. Richard passed away at the age of 71, and he will be facing the Cubs in this one. This is his last shutout. We will be using the classic replay game, which is a lot of fun. And here are the classic cards, the classic book, and I'm going old school and using a paper and pen scorecard. Let's look at the lineups. And let us play ball. So we're gonna grab some dice. We're gonna use a black D6. You know what? I'm gonna use a double D6. And do I have black line around? There it is. All right. And let's do it. All right. So it's going to be line 5. I haven't played this in a while. So there's going to be 3 there and 4 here. That's a 5 on column 5, which will be a 5. It's a ground ball to short. So De Jesus bounces one to short for out number 1. J.R. Richard had a lights out season. His last season was 1980 as a lights out season, but pitches only 17 games. And here comes Lenny Randle, and on deck you got Larry Bittner. All right, it's a 5 again, and that's column 5 is a 3, and a 6 is a 6, and that will be ball 4. So he did have 40 walks. Randle makes it to first, and here's Larry Bittner. And it's a 3 this time, so it's a 1. And then a 5 is a 4 on column 3. And that will be a short fly to left. And next up is Dave Con Kingman. Yes, sirree. Man, I remember him on WOR 1976. Bob Murphy, Ralph Kiner, Lindsey Nelson. That's a 1 and a 5. On Kingman is going to be a 36, and I believe that's a strikeout. And it's going to take us to the book, and a column, what do we say, 1, 36 is going to be a strikeout, and that will end the inning. So we go half an inning of play, and J.R. Richard on the mound for the Stros against Paul Russell. And here comes Paul Russell. Let's see if we can track him down. Where did I put him? There he is. It's going to be Landestoi leading off for the Astros. It's going to be Landestoi, Terry Poole, and Joe Morgan. Joe Morgan was with the Stros. It's Rick Russell. Here's the pitch. And that's a 6. It's a 1, and a 3 is a 32 on column 6. And that's a short fly to center field. Racing in is a center fielder, Thompson. And he makes the catch, 1 away. Here's Terry Poole. And it's a 3 and a 4, so it's column 3, and we're going to look at a 4, and that's a 60. 60 on column 3. And it's going to be refer to rare play chart. Wow. All right. We'll go to rare play chart so soon. And it's basically bases empty. Bases are empty. Innings 1 to 3. Line drive. Roll 1 die against the outfielder's large defensive rating. So the left fielder is Kingman. Kingman's rating out there is going to be a 2. So we're going to roll a die against him. Let's look at that. Let's roll a guy. If the die is not higher, batter is out. So if the die is not higher, and it is higher, if the die is higher, ball falls in for a hit, and batter gets as many bases as die exceeds outfielder's rating. So just by 1, so it's going to be a single. All right. So Poole is in there with a single that dunks in, a little flare that drops in front of Kingman. He kind of hesitated when he saw that. Did not read it well, and he hesitated, and it drops in front of him. Again, showing off his lack of outfield defense. And here's Joe Morgan. All right, so it's a 3. It's going to be a 4 on Rushell, and then a 5 is a 16 on column 3. And that's going to be a triple to right center field. So that's a drive in the gap. Is anybody going to get there? No, it's going to bounce off the wall. And with 2 out, the right fielder or center fielder, a 5 defensively, score a double. So this is going to be an RBI triple for Joe Morgan. And it's a 4, and we're going to double check. It's a 16. And on column 3, yes, sirree, it's a triple for Joe Morgan. Wow. All right, so it's 1-0 Stros. Scoring is Poole. And here's Jose Cruz. We're going to bring the infield in on this. And that is a 5, which is a 2, and a 6 is a 5, column 5. And that's going to be a grounder with the infield in column 5. Infield in, out at first, lead runner holds. All right. So it's going to be a 6-3. 2 out. And up comes Denny Walling. He bats from the left side. And that's a 3 and a 2. It's a 4, and a 2 is a 6, column 3. And that will be a short fly, center field. There is Thompson, and that retires the side. They leave a man stranded at third, but they pick up a run. And it's Astros 1. That's 1 run on 2 hits. Astros 1, and Cubs nothing. Here comes J.R. Richard. It's going to be Mike Vail. And here's a pitch from JR. That's going to be another 5. Wow, we've rolled already a bunch of 5s. So that's a 3, and then a 4 is going to be, it's going to be a 35 total on column 5. 35 on column 5. That's a strikeout. So JR picks up his 2nd consecutive strikeout. And here comes Scott Thompson with a 3-3, and that's going to be a 1, and a 3 is a 33 on column 3. And that's going to be lined and caught by the right fielder. So right at Poole, who makes the catch. And now it's Mike Tyson. And that's a 5, which is a 3, and then the 4 is going to be a 1, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base. Morgan throws and gets Tyson. 3 up, 3 down in that inning for J.R. Richard. Now, the actual score of this game was 3-0. Astros, J.R. Richard, his last shutout. And here we go to the bottom of the 2nd inning. Rick Rushell against the Stros. Enos Cabell with a 6-6. So that's going to be a 1, and a 6 is an 8. And that, I believe, is lined and base hit to center field. Oh, to left field. Left fielder cuts it off. Left center field. Cabell is on at first. Next up is Cedeno. Cesar Cedeno with a 2-2. That's a 3, and a 2 is a 14, column 2. So 14, column 2 is going to be a base hit to left field. Runner advances 1 base unless there's 2 outs. So stopping at second is going to be Cabell. So we got first and second now. And Alan Ashby's up. Here's a pitch. It's a 1. That's a 2. And then a 4 on the batter. That's a 37. And I believe that's a strikeout. 37. Oh, no. It's a ground ball with infield halfway, second to first double play. So it's a, what did I say it was? A 1 is a 2 and a 4, 37. And that's a 4-6-3 double play. Runner to third. And here comes J.R. Richard. We use a Astros batting card. I don't know what I did with it. It's my Astros batting card. What happened to that? I had it. Astros batting card. Huh. Should be in here somewhere. All right. Astros batting card. Gotta look and see what I do with that. All right. Be right back. It's going to be a 4-4. It's going to be to a 1, and the 4 is to the shortstop. That's going to be a 6-3, 1 down. Next up is Russell in a 4-2 game, and we're going with the pitchers in this game, letting them pitch. It's a 3 and a 1, and that's a 5 on column 3. And that's going to be a fly ball to shallow right. Right fielder Poole is there, 2 down, and here's De Jesus. That's a 3, and then a 2 is a 4, and that is column 5. I haven't memorized these yet. I haven't played this in about a month, so, and that is a, the 2 is a 5, which will, hold on a second. It's a 3, it's going to be a 4 on column 5, and that's going to be a ground ball to second base. And up with it is Morgan, throws out De Jesus. No runs, no hits, 4-2. Astros, J.R. Richard versus Paul Russell. I'll be right back. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Scores 4-2. I just wanted to mention that Russell, I just flipped him over to his B side because once you give up 4 runs, 4 earned runs, you should be on your B side according to these rules. And I haven't played this in a while, so I didn't remember how many runs. I had a feeling it was 4, but I felt that was a little bit too few runs to allow before you get flipped. But anyway, I just flipped them over now, and we're not going to worry about that. We're going to continue to play. It's going to be J.R. Richard against the Rick Russell's B side. It's going to be a 6 and a 1. That's a 3, and a 1 is a 39 on column 6. And that will be a strikeout. So he strikes out Richard for his second strikeout of the day. It's going to be Rafael Landestui against Rick Russell on his B side now. It's a 5 and a 2. So that's a 2, and a 2 is a 3. And I believe that is a ground ball to third. Up with it is Randall, and he throws out Landestui. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 4-2 Astros. And here's Terry Poole with a 4 and a 4. And again, that's going to be a 4 is a 1, and a 4 is a 6, I believe, a shortstop. Back, nobody on, so, geez. Yep, so it's going to be a 6-3, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits. And we go to the top of the 8th inning. Playing a game in honor of the passing of J.R. Richard. Rip J.R. Richard, 71. And at 71, he passed, and this is his last shutout, 1980, June 11th. Against the Cubs. He's up 4-2 right here in the top of the 8th inning. It's going to be, he's on his B side now. Actually, I believe it's his next base runner he flips, I believe. I believe that's the rule. Once the duration has been reached, a base run of any kind. Okay, so he can stay on his A side until he gives up a base runner, because guys will get on me about that. Here goes. That's a 6-6. So it's a 1 and a 9, and that's line base hit for Lenny Randle. Leadoff single for Randle here in the top of the 8th, and that will flip. That will flip J.R. Richards, his B-side, but I'm sure his B-side's pretty good. He had a 1.90 ERA, so. All right, run around first, and it's a 5 and a 3. That's a 5, and the 3 is a 9. That's ball 4. So 2 runners on in this inning. Bittner is on at first. Here comes Dave Con Kingman. He's 1 for 3 with a home run. And that's a 63. So that's going to be a 2, and a 3 is an 18. That's a fly to center field. And I'm not going to move anybody up. Mike Vail is next. And that's a 44. So that's going to be a 4 is a 4. And that's going to go to the count 4 halfway. That's going to go to the shortstop. Shortstop Landestoy is a 3, and so it's a 7, and that's going to be a runner. They get a fielder's choice, so it's going to be a 6-4. So we're going to have first and third now, and up comes Thompson. So Richard with runners on first and third, 4-2 the score. Top of the 8th inning, 2 outs. See what he can do, and that's going to be a 5-4. That's a 5, and a 4 is a 12, and a 12. I believe is a hit by pitch, right? Yes, it is. So he plunks Thompson to load the bases. Moving to second is Vail, and at third is Randle. So bases are loaded. Here's Mike Tyson. And that's a 33. It's a 3 there, and it's a 35 on column 3. And that may be a double. This game will be tied. A 35 will be a double to center field. Runners advance 2 bases. And the game is tied 4-4. And that will be it for J.R. Richard. Unfortunately, he did not pitch a shutout in our replay. And that 3, and then a 3 is a 35, and that 35 on column 3 is going to be a double. Double check that to center. And here comes Randle, followed by Vail. Stopping at third is Thompson. And it's a 2-run. That's a 3rd RBI of the day for Tyson. Mike Tyson delivered the knockout blow to J.R. Richard here in the top of the 8th inning. A 2-out, 2-run double, scoring Randle and Vail. That's 2 and 5. Picks up 2 more RBIs. And here comes Blackwell. New pitcher for the Astros is going to be Frank LaCourte. Blackwell is switch hitter, so LaCourte's going to come in. So that was 7.2. And here comes LaCourte to face Blackwell. And out is, and he can pitch, he can go 7 batters. All right, and here's the pitch with runners on second and third. Score is tied at 4 apiece now. Pitch to Blackwell, and that's going to be a 6 and a 1. That's a 2, and a 1 is an 18. That's a drive in the gap. After it is Cedeno. He's not going to get there. Yes, he does. What a great catch. Cesar Cedeno tracks that one down, turned on the burners, and caught up to it. So Tim Blackwell with a drive. And Cedeno comes up big for the Astros. That's 2 runs on 2 hits, a walk and a hit by pitch. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, all tied at 4. So we got a pretty good game going here. So J.R. Richard, rest in peace. He is out of the game. And it's going to be Joe Morgan here in the bottom of the 8th inning against Paul Russell's B-side. So Russell is still in there, toughing it out. Reaching back for a little extra. Here goes. That's a 5-5. That's a 2, and a 5 is a 7. That's ball 4. And then we got a D. So we're going to roll on the on base chart. So we're going to look at a D. And we're going to give it a roll. And there goes the runner. And he is safe at second base with a little star. Stolen base plus a possible throwing error by catcher. If the die is higher than the catcher's rating, so the catcher is Blackwell. So his rating is a 4. So if this is higher than a 4, and it is, that's going to be an error, and that's going to send Morgan to third. So if the roll is higher, the die is higher, it is an error, and the base runner takes an extra base. So it's a stolen base by Morgan, and then an E2 puts Morgan on third base with the go-ahead run here in a 4-4 tie. So the infield is going to be in for Jose Cruz. Pitch from Russell. That's a 3 and a 5. That's a 5. And a 5 is an 8 on column 3. An 8 on column 3. And that's going to be a single base hit to right field. That'll score the go-ahead run. Scores 5-4 now, Astros. RBI single for Cruz. And next is Denny Walling. And here's the pitch, and that's a 3 and a 6. That's a 5. And the 6 is a 52 on column 3. And that's going to be line drive to right against a Russell is a righty. Just double checking that. He is a righty. So a 52 is going to be a line drive to right against a righty. It's a single to right. Runners advance 2 bases. And that's going to be all for Russell. Runners on first and third. And we're going to the bullpen for the Cubs. Who are we going to grab? We're going to grab Dick Tidrow. Enos Cabell is up. He's a righty. And Tidrow's coming in. He will be using his A side to get out of this jam. All right, so Russell went 7. And here comes Tidrow. Against Cabell with runners on first and third. Infield's going to be playing in here. And that's a 2-2. That's a 1. And a 2 is a 12, column 2. And that's going to be line base hit center field. And one runner. Runners advance 1 base. So a run will score. So it's an RBI single. And it's first and second. Still nobody out. Here's Cesar Cedeno. Pitch from Tidrow. That's a 5-5. That's a 3. And the 5 is a 9. And that, I believe, my friends, will be base on balls. And that is a 9 is a base on balls. And that's going to load the bases. Oop. So going to third is Walling. Going to second is Cabell. And up first is Cedeno. Bases loaded. Infield's still in. Alan Ashby. That's a 2 and a 1. And that is going to be a 40, column 2, and that's going to be a ground ball. Runners advance 1 base. Back to the pitcher. So there's nothing they can do about that. It can only go to first on that. A run will score, so it's an RBI for Ashby. Drives in Walling. Both other runners move up. So second and third, infield is still in. Here is the pitcher now, and we're going to let LeCourt bat. Let him swing away. That's a 3 and a 4, so that's going to be a 1, and a 4 is a 21, column 3, and that's going to be a fly to center. With less than 2 out, runner on third may attempt to score. We're going to hold him up. So that's 2 outs. And here comes Rafael Landeskog. Score now is 7-4. The Astros have come up with 3 big runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Landeskog with runners on second and third. And that's going to be a 4 and a 5. So that's a defensive check. A 5 is a 1. And that 4, I believe, is a shortstop. And that will be an easy out. 6-3. Shortstop, I believe, De Jesus. He's like Yeah, he's a 2, so that will be an out, and that will retire the side. But the Stros strike back with 3 runs. 1, 2 on 3 hits and a couple of walks, a stolen base, and an error. And we move to last licks. We're going to get a pinch hitter. So there will be a pinch hitter there in the top of the 9th inning for the Cubs. Who will it be? Not too sure who will it be. I guess it'll be Cliff Johnson. Got Jim Tracy. He's a lefty. So let's bring in Tracy. Frank LaCourte, still on the mound. And it's going to be Jim Tracy. He's a lefty. And here's a pitch. It's a 2 and a 5. A 2 is a 1, and a 5 is a strikeout. So down on strikes goes Jim Tracy. Never heard of him. Next up is Ivan De Jesus here in the top of the 9th. Last lick, 7-4. Astros, they came up with 3 big runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. It all started with a walk to Morgan, a stolen base, and an error on the catcher. Put a runner on third, and then Cruz with a single, Walling with a single, Cabell with a single, a walk to Cedeno, and then it was a grounder by Ashby. That scored the 3rd run. So it was Cruz, Cabell, and Ashby who had RBIs in that bottom of the 8th inning. For the Stros are up 7-4. Excuse me, 7-4 is the score. All right, here's the Jesus, and that is a 21. So that's a 2 there, and a 1 here is a 43 on column 2, and that will be a ground ball right back to the pitcher, LaCourte. And he has faced only 3 batters. He can face 7, so he's still good. And here's Lenny Randle. So the Cubs are down to their last out. And here's a pitch. And that's a 5-6. That's a 4. And a 6 is an 8. That's ball 4. So a 2-out walk allowed by Court. Remember, 7-4 the score. Kingman is on deck. Bittner gets on. A blast will tie this ball game. So here's Bittner. And that's a 2 and a 4. That's a 1 there, and a 4 is a 17 on column 2, and that will be strike 3, and the ball game is over. So LaCourte comes up huge, pitches to 5 batters and retires 4 of them. And the win is going to go to LaCourte. Richard gets a no decision on that. The loss will go to Russell. And let's see the hits on this one. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hits and 4 runs there for the Cubs. The Astros had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of hits in this game. 6, 7, 8. And it was 9, 10, 11. 7 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. So it was the Cubs with 4 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error. And the Astros, they pull it out in the bottom of the 8th inning with 7 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. Forgive if I made any mistakes. I haven't played this in a while, so I have to warm up to the game and start remembering and seeing the rules again, and so on and so forth. But basically, the purpose of this was to just remember J.R. Richards' greatness. Unfortunately, they got to him in the top of the 8th. He pitched pretty well until the top of the 8th. And he did get to 2 outs, but then he hit, it was a hit by pitch to Thompson with 2 outs to load the bases, and up came Tyson. And it was just, Richard was already on his B side, and then it ended up being a double that tied the game at 4 apiece. And we had to remove the great J.R. Richard. But that's it. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice. Remember, like and subscribe for more fun stuff like this. And reach out to me if you have any questions. If looking for any card sets, I have a lot of, I have a lot of answers sometimes for you, and I can maybe help you out and get something and maybe advise. Take care, guys. Have a great night. And let's say goodbye to J.R. Richard here. Let's get his card out. Let's get his A card out. This is the classic replay. Beautiful cards. This is definitely basically a time travel experience back into the past, using these cards and using the style book and so forth. And rest in peace, J.R. Richard. Thanks for the memories, and we really appreciate you being part of our world as we grew up. Take care.